Hello everyone and welcome to Ocean Cadence. Today we will be undertaking the topic of gear drive for main engines. We will be covering the topic of chain drive separately in a different chapter altogether, and I wanted to take gear drive before that because this is a topic that is usually left uncovered because most of the MAN BMW and other common engines they follow the chain drive system. However, when you switch over to Sulzer and also Mitsubishi, these engines predominantly follow the gear drive system. So let's see how it works. As you can see in the figure, the gear drive is basically nothing but an intricate arrangement of gears. Within this, we have 4 different types of nomenclature. That is the crankshaft gear, the camshaft gear, the primary idle gear, and the secondary idle gear. The primary and the secondary idle gears are also often termed as intermediate gear wheels. In the gear shaft assembly for the gear drive, the lubrication occurs between the mating surface of the gears because during the mating of the gears, the maximum amount of heat and therefore the maximum amount of wear is liable to be generated. So, much like the chain drive, lubricating nozzles are used over here that splash or supply lubricant, that is the lube oil, at a certain pressure in between the mating and the meshing surfaces of the gears. It is also worthy to be noted that the secondary idle gear also has the teeth width, that is, I'm not talking about the linear width, the lateral width. The lateral width of the secondary idle gear is always the most in comparison to the other gears. That is because in case if there is a shifting of the camshaft, that is in the older engines where the entire camshaft used to be shifted with the help of an air cylinder piston assembly, the teeth has to be laterally wide enough to accommodate that shifting of the camshaft during reversing and still work with the same efficiency. It is also to be noted that while the crankshaft gear is completely linked to the crankshaft and the camshaft gear is completely linked to the camshaft, the idle gears, that is the intermediate gear wheels, are bolted with the center flanges that are bolted to the fixed ends. That is, the intermediate gear wheels are in the center position bolted to the fixed end of the engine. These intermediate gear wheels basically rotate on shafts that have one fixed end bolted to the cover side. Moving ahead, it is also important to be noted that none of the gears are supposed to have whole number of teeth. This is important because in general gear terminology, you must notice that if a gear has a whole number of teeth, the same tooth will mesh over again and again with the contacting gear. That means if the same teeth keeps mating again and again, the wear rate of those particular teeth will always be higher. That is why we intend to arrange it in such a way that the mating surfaces do not come in contact in a cyclic process. The number of contact occurring on a single teeth should always be irregular. That is why the gear teeth are whole in number. Now, what is important is the clearances that are to be measured on the gear drive. Before going on to the clearance, I would also like to note that this particular arrangement of 2 intermediate gear wheels, that is in total a 4 gear wheel drive. It is mostly used because, as you can see, if we have to raise the height of the camshaft, that is to bring it closer to the units and make the engine taller. For the engine stroke to be taller and the camshaft to be as close to the unit, there have to be more number of intermediate wheels. This will also be helpful because instead of having one particular intermediate wheel that is bigger in size, leading to higher amount of losses, higher amount of heat generation as well as other difficulties, we have two intermediate gear wheels. Now again moving on to the topic of clearances, it has to be noted that the gear drive has basically three clearances that we need to measure. One is the clearance between the mating surface of two different gears, that is the backlash clearance. The backlash clearance, which I have marked with the terminology C, is measured in the same way that we do on a pump or anywhere else where we use mating gears or gear assembly. That is, the gears are allowed to rotate in relation to each other, then mesh properly, and then a feeler gauge is inserted between the loose contacting surface of the gears and the backlash clearance is measured. It is also important to be noted that in UEC engines, it has been predominantly dictated that all the mating surfaces, that is between the camshaft and the first idle gear, between the two idle gears as well as the crankshaft gear and the idle gear, the backlash clearance value is always the same and it is denoted with the denomination C in our presentation. The limiting value of this clearance C is 0.5 mm. However, as for UEC engines, the one which we are undertaking, this value always remains in the order of 0.2 to 0.26. That is the standard measurement. Also, when we see the gear arrangement sideways, that is when we see the gear on its shaft, and if I am talking about the intermediate gears, then as I said before that one end of the shaft is fixed on the fixed end of the engine while the other is the approachable end. So if I am viewing this gear through the side view, then there will always be two clearances between the gear, the fixed end and the approachable end. These clearances are termed as A1 and A2. The total sum of A1 and A2 will be in the order of 0.24 to 0.45. And as we have indicated, the limiting value will be 0.6 or lesser. In the same way, since the gear is rotating on the shaft, so there will always be a clearance between the two mating surfaces, that is between the inner dia of the gear as well as the outer dia of the shaft. That has to be measured, and this value would be in the order of 0.05 to 0.125. However, the limiting value of this clearance is 0.2. Also, we have to make sure that to measure this particular value, we have to take way through the approachable end, and this approachable end has a cover. We have to first remove it and then insert the feeler gauge between the mating surfaces. So I hope that the clearance values can be helpful to you in terms of examination as well as other places when you are doing the gear shaft measurements and the gear drive measurements the next time. I hope the lecture is helpful to you, and we intend to cover the chain drive lecture soon as well. Please make sure to like and subscribe our channel so that we can get enough motivation to keep creating such encouraging content. Thank you.